Hey everyone, welcome back to Notes to Self. My name is Melanie.
And I'm Cory.
We were both born and raised in a polygamous church here in Utah called the Apostolic United Brethren, or the AUB. I was raised with 4 mothers, 34 brothers and sisters.
My dad had 9 wives and 39 kids, all up in a compound up in Pinesdale, Montana. So a communal.
Yep. So my dad is the current leader of the AUB, and we are going to be talking about Sister Wives, season 20, episode 5.
And my dad's not.
Your dad is not the little leader.
Never been a PSR. So
nope. So this one is called Kissing Another Man's Wife. So we actually watched this out on, we watched this Sunday night, the night it came out. It comes on here at 11 p.m. here in Utah. At least with my cable subscription, it does. I've had other people say that it comes on at 8 o'clock for them, but for us, it comes on at 11 p.m. So we had a couple glasses of wine and did a live watch. If you follow us on TikTok, I'm sure you've seen that. I will probably put that here on YouTube eventually. But yeah, we probably should have had a lot stronger of a drink than wine when we watched it. Because man, this episode is so full of so much BS that we were raised with. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the doctrine that they all run with and believe in. So
yeah, so we've really been picking it apart, and so much of this now. This affects me a little bit differently than it affects Cory, because of course I'm a woman who could be property to be owned by these men, and Cory was one of the owners of the property, of such property.
Well, I wasn't. I was the one being told not to kiss other men's wives. So, but
that's
I did
very true.
A lot.
That's very true.
So I kissed a ton of other men's wives.
Yeah. So if you don't know about any of our background, or you haven't watched any of our previous videos, Cory was actually kicked out of the AUB for, licking the butter off another man's bread. Is that what you'd say?
Yep.
So he got kicked out for adultery, even though she was not married and he was not married. But because she was promised to another man in the pre-existence, then Cory got kicked out for adultery.
Yep.
So basically the BS that you hear Cody Brown spew on this episode is the same kind of
that they all spewed
growing
up. So
yes. And I was taught that very much.
Belief system that, a woman belongs to a man from pre-existence. And if she does anything with anybody else, that person is stealing
something
from
that doesn't
her
belong to
husband.
him.
So
yeah, so this episode had a lot. For years, I fully believed that whatever my physical body belonged to my ex-husband. Mm-hmm. I 100% believed that. That's what I was told my entire life. I didn't see anything wrong with that until I was in my early 20s, getting married a week after I turned 17. Everything belonged to him. And he was, there was a lot of trauma around that. And when I realized that that's not how it was supposed to be, he had a lot of upset and a lot of trauma and a lot of, to this day, it's been, he's almost 60 now. And yeah, he still thinks that. So
part of the belief system of a lot of people. So
there's a lot for us to talk about and go heal through on this episode. So again, this is one of the reasons why we like to remind everybody to please do your healing work. What we're going to say?
Exactly. No.
Yeah. Because if you are a human with a human body, then you have experienced some level of trauma and you deserve to be healed and get through some of those dogmas that I was taught from birth, that I belonged to my father until I belonged to my husband. I never belonged to myself. I was never my own human being, my own sovereign being to make my own choices. It was my father and then my husband.
And that's why I feel like we raised our daughters completely different.
Yeah.
Completely changed that belief system.
Yeah. Yeah. We have 2 girls.
Choice, and they are powerful human beings. So
yep. I feel like I'm talking louder than you are.
No, I'm coming in loud and clear.
Okay. Perfect.
Jumping up in the red. People should be able to hear me.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, I always talk. I'm a very loud speaker, apparently, and next to Cory. So this one, So yeah, this whole episode gave us a whole lot to chew on all week long. And we've watched episode 1 too many times, I think, because it's infuriating every time we watch it. But right when you think that Cody Brown cannot hit a lower low, then he does. And he's like, just second, hold my beer. I'm going to outdo myself from the last episode. And here you go. Let's just make it even worse. And
well, you think, okay, now he's away from the AUB, has been for years. You think that he's like, yep, I've lost my religion, but he has not lost his dogma. His teachings, those are still strong. So
yeah,
he hasn't even questioned, in some senses, any of his teachings of how he thought growing up. So even though it all failed for him, he's still not even gone, he didn't do anything wrong. Robin didn't do anything wrong. Why change the way I think about anything? So
it's really is infuriating to watch it. It's infuriating because we've lived it. So, and we've done a ton of healing work around it. It's just, to me, and it is very validating when the world watches this crap and then feels the same way. Like, who does this man think he is? He doesn't own these girls. Aurora is 22-year-old woman at this point in this episode, and we don't see Brianna, and we don't see any of the other girls that he has, any of the other children that he has. So, and Ariella, I guess she is, I don't know, probably 10, maybe 11 in this episode. So good luck with that one, because she's going to get a double dose from Robin and from Cody. But I mean, all the other girls did too, because the OG wives were very deeply ingrained in the culture as well. I'm so grateful that I started to see and come out of that in my early 20s. So I didn't live my whole life believing that I was someone else's property.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's jump right into this. So we start the episode with Mary and Jen at a diner. They're talking about Coyote Pass, and I think it's hilarious because she's like, I love that Jen is Mary's hype girl to some degree, because she's like, bitch, where's my money? I don't think we can say that word, but that'll be the only time we say it. But
they said it on TLC, we could say.
I know. And so she's like, you don't control me. And so I think it's great because, I mean, part of me feels I'm happy when I see these women finding their self-empowerment, but then I kind of feel sad that they're in their 50s now trying to find this self-empowerment, because they've literally lived in this dogma their entire lives.
But that still is amazing.
It is.
I have, there's people within the group that have, I mean, that even though a lot of things have happened in their life and they're alone now, they still have that belief system. They're not even going to question the dogma. So.
Well, and when Cory says the group, the AUB was referred to as AUB. We actually didn't even know it was called the AUB for most of our lives. We always called it the group or the Ulrich group, or or the AUB. So if you ever hear us refer to it as the group, that's why. It's because that's what it was called. But one of the things I think is interesting is I do believe that Cody and Robin held on to Coyote Pass as long as they could, because it was really the only control that Cody had over these women up until that point, because that's what I think is so hard for these men when women do find their self-empowerment in this religion, because they're so used to saying jump, and the women, how high, what do you need, and there's always a sense of control over these women, and all of a sudden when that control is gone, it is a hard pill for these men to swallow, because they don't even know what to do with it. Like, what do I do, beat her? And some men have resorted to that kind of behavior.
We grew up, there was a saying that I remember some of the older ladies, especially telling my sisters, and that is, honey, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yeah.
And so it's another kind of term to keep sweet. And
we were taught that as young women.
It's something that Cody is used to, of them being sweet, them, because she says in here something along the lines of, I just didn't want to be a bitch. And that comes up from the training. And I feel like that's also his way of control, that if I'm not letting go of Coyote Pass, or I have control over Coyote Pass, they need to be nice to me and not say mean things to the cameras about me. And because as soon as Coyote Pass is gone and they have nothing to gain from him anymore, they can come after him a bit rougher. So they don't have to keep sweet anymore with him. So they can write books and do all sorts of stuff that could piss him off, but he has no control over their finances anymore.
Right. So. And that really is one of the ways that men control the women in this culture a lot more than other people, is because they control, they do control 99% of all the finances. And so you are taught from I remember the day that my divorce decree was finalized, and I was like, I never have to say a nice word about you again, to you or about you ever. And, but up until then, I treaded very lightly. And you can see that these women are trying to tread lightly because he does have so much power and control over them.
Yeah.
And the system is literally designed to be that way.
Well, so. I wanted to mention too, because it's at the top of my notes, this starts out Christmas, and Mary basically said that Logan had asked her for the candy cane recipe. And that is something that is awesome. I mean, I have great memories around Christmas, and there's different memories from each one of my dad's wives, my different moms up there. So
a lot of people, I mean, it's just too much for one or two people to do that many traditions. So a lot of things are divided between the women in traditions like that. I mean, I love that that they mean so much to the children. And so you see them talking a lot throughout the episode of the family traditions, which I think is great, because they really are trying to recreate some level of normalcy for the next generation, because you do have McKelty's kids and Madison's kids and now Aspen's kids. And so you're having to, they want to recreate some of this normalcy or some of this happy memories for these younger generations.
Yeah. And the kids, these are a lot, especially Christmas times, holidays. Those were, I mean, majority of them had those were the good memories we had growing up in polygamy, as a polygamous child. So
right. And I think it's funny. So they're out in North Carolina, and you see David bantering with Janelle. I think David and Janelle get along really well because they're more like siblings is what I would put them at, because he loves to banter with her and give her a hard time. And, I've seen a couple other creators be like, David needs to back up and just let Janelle have her space. But I think just watching some of the banter, for me, it seems like more like an older brother teasing a younger sister, like you got to get a boyfriend or whatever. I don't take it as David trying to get up in Janelle's business as much as just trying to I loved it when David was like, Caleb says to him, were you on Farmers Only? And he's like, dude, I was on every single app. And so I think that's funny. Because he's just trying to have a good time, and he's really trying to integrate a relationship with Janelle and her kids, because Christine has expressed that that's important to her. And so I think it's really awesome to watch him he's trying to take a front row to interacting, not just a backseat to, this is Christine and her family. He's really trying to be involved. I think it's funny how Janelle's just like, I don't want to get around. I don't want another man. They're way too high maintenance. And then they start making fun of Cody, which I just think is hilarious, because this is one of the ways that these wives were not loyal to this man, because here they are making fun of his high maintenance. And, I just think it's funny because she's like, they're a lot of work. And David's like, but I bet if you're on Farmers Only, you can find somebody with a 6-pack and a washboard abs. And then they start talking about these different handsome men that melt Janelle like butter. I thought that was hilarious. And Janelle's like, yeah, they're handsome. And I ended up with a Cody Brown. I guess it just matters who you mesh with. And so I felt like that the slams to Cody were just continually coming.
Yeah.
But these men in these religions are extremely high maintenance, because they never have to do anything for themselves. These women and children do everything for them. If it was even appropriate, they'd wipe their butts for them, because that is how these men, that is what they're used to. And so they never have to do anything for themselves.
Yeah, it's the way, to be honest, it's the way the women are trying to win
the affection and attention.
And up till a certain point, but they're trying to win his affection. They're trying to be pleasing to him. That's the way we were all raised. And so the benefit of that is most of the time he's treated very good.
Like a king. So. Yep. He is very much like a king. And these women are the servants, and the children are even lower than a servant. So
I was lucky because I did have a mother that'd been with him a long, long time, and she'd put him back in his place quite a bit. So
yeah,
ours was a little different because we were all living in the same house, but for the most part, I would say my dad got humbled on an occasion or two. So
yeah, it's definitely. I did not see my dad get humbled like that very often. All of his wives,
separate houses.
Yeah, all of his wives bowed to his feet pretty often. All right, and then I think it's funny because I feel like
so sorry.
I feel like last year it's like we've been watching Cody and Robin go on this redemption tour. It is failing hardcore, but I feel like they're constantly trying to justify social media. Like social media goes out and these guys are hoarders, these guys are this, these guys are that, and so then you see them come up with a line trying to justify why they're doing the things that they're doing. And I think it's gluttonous, the amount of crap that he has in this garage. But Robin tries to justify it by saying, oh, well, he had 4 wives and he had 4 different homes, so he had all this, extra, that when, as each wife left, they would give him all of his stuff back. And so really he had 4 garage fulls of shit. Oh, no, that's insanity.
The poor guy was so spread between every place, and it was so hard to carry a duffel bag. So he wanted to have something of his at each wife's house, and as they've all left him. So, I mean, there's a good sob story there, even though the reality of it is, he spent, his kids might have got a pair of shoes or 2, but he had
12.
4, or 5 at each house. So, and he had to go and figure out which pair of shoes he wanted. This guy's more
high maintenance than any woman I know. But they talk about how he would travel with what?
Or Robin.
Well, it's true. But she's not.
I think they're equal.
She does have a strong jawline. She's not.
You said that he's high maintenance more than any woman you knew. So.
I see. I didn't. Well, I forgot.
He's met up with one that's just as high maintenance. So
that's true. But they talk about how he used to travel from house to house in a duffel bag. Now, Cory's dad lived in the same home, so he had his own space, his own room type, where my dad did not. He traveled from home to home with a duffel bag, and in the back of his car was most of his stuff. Yeah. And so I do remember my dad bringing in like a shaving kit and different shirts, and he wore pretty much the same outfit almost every day for work. And so he had just very similar shirts, and he would just rotate through them and launder them at, he would have a laundry service come to his office and pick up his clothes and then wash them and bring them back to his office, is what I remember for a good chunk of as I got older. But I do remember him just packing a duffel bag because he just didn't have he didn't have the means. And I don't think Cody had the means for a long time either, especially because all the wives lived in the same house. But then when they started building and buying bigger homes and moving away from each other, and he had more financial means, he could go ahead and buy those $200 pair of shoes and own 6 pair of them. Oh,
yeah, it definitely different than you guys definitely grew up different than the way we did. So there was a couple mothers that knew how to iron and do all that stuff. That's where I learned how to iron.
Right.
So
I used to have an ironing service when I was 12. I used to iron other people's clothes.
Apparently your dad didn't have a wife that did it, and he didn't hire you.
No. Well,
so
yeah. So no, most men just didn't. They just kept him, or his one favorite wife would do it most of the time, but she didn't want to do his laundry for him, so she didn't. And because he didn't go to the other wives' houses as often, he needed to make sure he had all this stuff with him. So I do remember he always had a shaving bag, and he always had shirts hanging in the back seat of his car.
And my dad was different too. I wanted to kind of clarify that. Yes, he had a space for clothing, but at the beginning, when there were so many of us, he didn't have his own room. It wasn't until later on, when a lot of us left, that he got his own room.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah, because when I met you, he had his own room.
Yeah, well, yeah, because there was a quarter of what was living in that house living in there.
True.
So
well, and Mary points out that he didn't really have to move a lot of stuff from her house, because if he was upset with her, he would just slowly move his stuff out. And so she hadn't had his stuff at her. So these are the small little things that you don't really think about. Anything that was important to my father went and stayed at his favorite wife's house. It didn't stay at my mother's house. It didn't stay at the other wives' houses, because it would stay at her house. And his justification for that was her house was more centrally located. And so that's why she got to keep like the fancy jewelry, if he had any, that kind of stuff. So then we see Aurora come in as Cody and Robin are in this gluttonous garage with all of this stuff, and all of this, the really important things that Cody Brown owns, like, I don't know, a 12 by 12 photo of his son that has passed is sitting in this garage, which I think is really tragic. I mean, I don't know, maybe it doesn't go with the decor on the inside of this multi-million-dollar house, and they can't find a single room to accommodate a picture of his son that has passed. So it goes into the garage with all of his really, really important things, gluttonous things. There's my sarcasm, because I just think it's disgusting.
What that just tells me is the picture is super important to him, and he probably spends more time in the garage than he does in the house. So
yeah.
So
yeah, I just think it's so tragic. But so
just getaway place.
Again, it feels a lot of these conversations feel very set up, and I'm sure they are. It's like, okay, we're gonna, I'm sure it is with other people. Okay, we're gonna, decorate cookies over here. We're going to do this. But Robin and Cody's conversations feel even a step further than that. They feel a step further than, okay, we're just going to decorate cookies. Let's go. They feel like, okay, we're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk, and here's what we're going to say. And so it feels very staged, or very over the top, rehearsed to some degree.
After 20 years of doing a show, you've got 3 women that are just sitting there joking. They have got used to the cameras. I feel like these two are still trying to.
Well, Robin wasn't.
Footing, and they're very scripted. They're very. She's always eyeballing him so that he doesn't say something stupid. Where the other wives now don't have to monitor Cody and what he's going to say, so they're just relaxed and chilled in front of the camera and telling their story. And so it's more, and even the rest of the family, the kids that are there, they're all just more relaxed, just talking about what's going on, joking, laughing, having a good time. They're loud, probably the way we grew up. It was loud, joking around, having fun, where this is more
scripted,
weird. Scripted and weird.
So, but I think it's interesting, because he's like, I feel sad for his other kids who don't have relationship with him anymore. When they see, if they even watch the show, who knows? But when they see these kind of scenes, like Aurora's my daughter, Aurora's this, Aurora's that. And when he says, I'm the man that this boy has to come to, and says, he's like, I'm the guy that's supposed to say to this boy, hey, do you have any sense about you? And, or do you have the sense about you to date my daughter? And I don't know. He tries to come off so, like, profound and full of wisdom. And I'm just like, you're an idiot. Like, he doesn't say anything that has any level of profoundness, or it's really hard to listen to him. He seems like he's always got a word of the week. He's always got, like, and he even said that, and I'll get to that when, a little farther down when he says something along the fact that he's old-fashioned, but he's really not old-fashioned in like most everything. It's just in his wisdom. And I'm thinking, what the hell does old-fashioned in your wisdom mean? I don't think this man has wisdom. He tries to make it sound like he has some wisdom, but he has nothing.
Well, I feel like he reads, probably has that calendar, that inspirational calendar, or
affirmation thought of the day or something,
whatever it is, and he reads it, and then he tries to put in a little bit of his belief system, change it a little bit, or so, but he's putting in his dogma, his belief system, the way we're raised, some of the lines that we were raised with growing up, and it comes out creepy. And so that's the problem. He's trying to, but it just comes out creepy for some reason. And it is the little twist of the dogmas that he's putting in everything. His belief system is coming out and it's creepy. So,
well, polygamous belief system are creepy.
Yeah,
it's creepy old men trying to get the attention of young girls. And so
justify it.
Through
scripture, through belief systems, through whatever it is, they're trying to justify their belief systems that they just swear by, because it gives them more wives and younger wives,
right,
and tons of kids. So
right. You can play that one.
Oh,
this is a clip Cory wanted to. I don't know.
Aurora is 22. She has dated some in the past, had a little bit of a relationship in high school, but she's never really had like a super serious relationship.
Well, that's so like, it's funny because it's kind of old-fashioned. That's not what you do anymore. Like,
he's definitely more like chivalry is not dead, and I don't need to show you. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh,
ooh. I'm old-fashioned as far as just like wisdom, I feel like, in relationships. It's like know somebody, see them on their worst day. I can tell.
Okay.
There you go.
There I go. See, I'm learning. I'm doing good.
You're the one who learned that in the first place.
That's right.
Yeah, he's old-fashioned in his wisdom. No, he is not. He is not. He does. You have to have wisdom in order to be, I don't know, the way he says stuff. I'm just old-fashioned.
Well, in some ways, he is. He's parroting dogmas from the 1800s, belief systems from the 1800s that most people are moving on. And old-fashioned, the way he's saying it, oh, I'm old-fashioned, it's that the old-fashioned to him, I feel like, is he is scripturally read. He knows his scriptures. He's not modern, even though he's got Taylor Swift apparently going. He can quote Taylor Swift too, but
how do you quote Taylor Swift?
Did he sing a song of Taylor Swift? I thought it was Shakespeare, and it was actually him quoting some Taylor Swift lines
like
about
the Bed of Roses or something like that. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was like last season.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's feeling like it's Robin talks to God. Cody's old-fashioned in his belief system, which is more scripturally based. So he's trying to say that without saying that he's closer to God. So
yeah, I just think I get frustrated with him. And Robin also says in this scene that because Cody's like, well, he didn't ask me if he could be your boyfriend. And Robin's like, come on, he's not even from our church.
Yeah.
And then she sits down on the couch and she's like, hey, in our church, she always refers to it in our church. Now we'll refer to it as our church sometimes too, but the way Robin does it is a little bit different. Because I feel like we try to correct ourselves. I mean, it's not our church anymore, but the way we were raised, and she doesn't refer to it as the way I was raised or the way she refers to it as our church. And in our church, you had to go to the head of the priesthood, you had to go to the father, and then the girl would know that you were interested. Or the girl would do vice versa. The girl would go to the head of the priesthood. She'd go to her father, and then the father would go to the head of the priesthood. And then the man would be let known, hey, she's interested in you. Are you interested in her? And that's another reason why the courtships are so short, is because everything's already been really worked out ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's not, again, not arranged marriages, but highly encouraged marriages. What were you going to say?
Now I kind of.
And so I just think it's okay. I just think it's interesting that that Robin refers to things like that. And she's like, Brody would never even know that. He wouldn't even know to go ask, because that's not how he was raised at all. He's been raised, I believe she said Christian is what she said in here. And so he wouldn't even think to do that.
Well, and to be honest, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they have raised Aurora that way. But I think the reason he was saying that is to her, well, he hasn't even asked me. It's because he was like, remember the rules, remember the things. He should have come and asked me, type thing. And
well, then he does want to clarify, and he's like, Aurora's my daughter. She's asked me to protect her. Yeah. She's asked me to be involved in these situations.
So now he's given her the rules.
So now he's trying to be involved. And I think when we started dating, you went and asked my dad, and I was furious. I was so mad because I was 26 years old and had 3 kids and been married out on my own for 10 years. Like, I didn't need my dad's permission to get married, but Cory was trying to follow protocol because of who my dad was and wanted to try to have the respect of my dad. But then my dad said, no, stay away.
Yep.
And then we dated anyway. So,
and that was teachings that I grew up with. I mean, if you didn't, that was the protocol for us to go and talk to the father. And if I was told that if I wanted a relationship with the father, that's how I would do it, show him respect. And that's how I do it. Because if I didn't, then there would be, we would never get along.
And you didn't even get along for like the first 10 years.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then we go back out to North Carolina. They're talking about home remedies. They're talking about insurances. It's true. Utah did crack down really hard on insurance. So insurance fraud, mostly because of polygamous families, is my understanding, because there was just one man and 2 dozen kids. So she talks about that, about Utah law being very strict in home remedies. McKelty talks about giving her kids onion and honey syrup. Mm-hmm. This is very common. People in today's society, which I think is extremely unfortunate, want to shame people for not going medical route. We get a lot of comments in our comment section about shaming. Polygamous people just don't believe in medicine, which is not necessarily true, but there's a lot of home remedies that work and are great. And not every person has to go to a hospital or a doctor every time. So I guess I appreciated that conversation, because I get tired of, sometimes it's like people want to make you ashamed or embarrassed, or make you apologize if you choose not to take your kid to a doctor every single time they get sick. And so I'll start speaking out a little bit more about this. Not that and again, talk to your doctor. Again, do the things that you feel. We're not saying, we're not medical professionals. We're not telling any, but it's the shaming culture around people trying to do things on their own, or trying to do things. Of course, polygamous people, there's several doctors in the polygamous community. There's there's dentists, there's all sorts of people in the polygamous community. And if your child needs to go to the hospital, most of them will take them to the hospital. There's always those extremes that don't do it, but there's a little soapbox. Sorry. I get tired of some creators that are out there that want to make, that are trying to shame any sort of group of people into, oh, they don't believe in doctors. Oh, they don't believe in medical. They don't believe in that, but it could go both ways, where, oh my gosh, your child has a fever. They're 99.8, whatever. Cody had a fever with COVID, and you took them to the doctor. What? Like, my kids have been on antibiotics once or twice in their life. Maybe. We just did not take them to the doctor for earaches. And my kids are some of the healthiest kids on the planet, I think. And so I am there's my little soapbox about that. I've seen already from this episode a couple of different creators making fun of the fact that they are trying to do things as naturally as possible. And I just get tired of that shame culture around it.
Nice soapbox.
There you go.
Mine was, that was a strange word for us growing up. I mean, I became aware of insurance when I bought my first car, that I'd have to have car insurance.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of medical insurance. That was something we didn't do. And a lot of times we were working in a United Order where we would go out and work the farms, work the cattle stuff. It went into the United Order as trade work. And so if we got sick, if we needed to go see the nurse up there, that was all trade work. So we'd go see the nurse.
That's how we did it too.
And the first time that things ever happened was my little brother got injured, and they took him down to the hospital. And that was the first time we're like, oh my goodness,
there's a place you can go to get taken
he's telling us about going to the hospital and getting snacks and stuff at the hospital. So, but yeah, it's just something we didn't know about growing up.
Which is totally fine. It's just the shame culture around it. Like, you raise your kids the way you want to, I'll raise my kids the way I want to, and just take the shame out of it. That's the part I guess I get a little bit hyped up over, because it's like, not every earache needs to go to the doctor. Not every sore throat needs to go to the doctor. And that's fine. If you take your child to the doctor, just leave the shame at home. Like, just don't bring the shame up. Okay. And then we were talking about family traditions and Christmas. They're talking, they're bringing up all the different kinds of family traditions that they did with Mary and the pajamas and all of that. Christine says that the Browns decided that there are a lot of polygamous men that would go from home to home to home. And our family decided, Christine says, our family decided we didn't want to have anything to do with that we were going to all have Christmases together, which I think is an extremely healthy way to do it when you are in this religion. Unfortunately, maybe not so much for the mothers, but for us kids, it was amazing. We loved it. We loved the holidays. We loved being able to get together. We loved having the sleepovers, because we didn't all have sleepovers together. That was like, it was Christmas and then one or maybe two other, where you guys all just went to your separate parts of the house. But
well, we all lived in the same house, so we had Christmas together in the center of the house.
Yeah.
So did the Browns when they all lived in the same house. I think they made that decision to go to one place, which they'd usually rent once they were on the show and in separate houses.
And they could afford it. Yeah.
But we all had it in the big house. It was a big center thing. And then the other thing, yes, some men did that. There were a lot of people
who didn't even celebrate
it, Christmas up where we grew up. So I would say probably about half of the community didn't even celebrate it.
Yeah.
Our parents put out Christmas lights on the outside of the house, and it frustrated people in the community for, yes, have your tree inside the house where nobody can see it, but don't flaunt it throughout the neighborhood. So, and my parents doubled down and decorated their house every year. So,
so a lot of people, they don't celebrate it. I think it's awesome that they're just talking about the different traditions that they loved, and then the kids want to carry on some of those traditions, which I think is awesome. Logan wanting to do the candy canes, it did make Mary feel important. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other stuff that they didn't talk about on TV that the kids do want to carry on. And then we go to Mary and Jen, and they're talking about traveling. And Jen was like, "You've never traveled anywhere by yourself." And Mary's like, "No, I would never think to travel alone." Very common. Again, women were not really allowed to travel by themselves. And I don't even know if saying allowed is the right word to say. It's just, we just didn't. I didn't ever travel by myself. And well, I did once I left the polygamous group at 22. I took a flight by myself to and from California, but that was not something that you always wanted to have a priesthood man around in case there was an emergency and you needed a priesthood blessing, or you needed the power of the priesthood in some different fashion. And so we were always taught to always have a priesthood member with us wherever we went.
Yeah, it was different from us growing up too. So my mom would travel down here to see her family once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And she would drive us down herself.
By yourself?
I only remember Dad coming down once with her, and that's when my grandpa passed. So.
Oh, see, we didn't travel.
So
it wasn't until I got older, and then my mom would travel with us. But we didn't travel and do a lot of stuff. A, we couldn't afford to go anywhere. And B, we just didn't. I mean, my mom would go back and forth to Idaho sometimes with the younger kids, but mostly most women just didn't take their children too far away from home. Yeah. So, okay, let's see. And then Cody gets on there and starts acting like a victim. I feel like for every scenario, Cody has a victim story. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know about the Lake Havasu. Mary took a trip to Lake Havasu, but all I heard, now listen to the way that he says all this. And it's like, he says that he didn't ignore Mary. He says that he didn't want, but then he's like, I was unaware. Apparently she would just disappear and be gone for long periods of time. Like, you're unaware that your wife was just gone for long periods of time. Now, it was expected. I grew up being taught that it was expected that if you did go somewhere, you let your husband know where you were going. You let the priesthood head or whoever know where you were going. But the men didn't always do that. The men could go out of town with another wife for an anniversary, a wedding, whatever it is, birthday. And he didn't always tell his wives, oh, I'll be out of town for 3 days. But if she was going to go out of town, you needed to make sure that you probably needed your husband's permission. Not everyone did, but a lot of women did need their husband's permission to leave. And then he needed to know where you were. We didn't have GPSs back then. We didn't have oh, let me just look you up on my phone and find out where you're at. We didn't have any of that. And so this man needed to be aware of where his property was traveling to, along with his other little properties. And so there's my target. This episode brought out some frustration in me. And so, yeah, a lot of women did need to ask permission to go anywhere. And I think that's where you're starting to see some of Cody's butt woundedness in here, is he's like, well, Mary didn't ask my permission. She just left. We didn't know where she was. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So says the hypocrisy. And then did you have, please?
Well, I just put a note down here that, because Mary's talking about dating too. And it's weird for her. All the wives were talking about it. And that's because this is the first time that Mary has had to date in many, many years for herself. Usually she was dating other women to bring into Cody's family. And so at the very beginning, they're going to group dates and things like that, and meet and greets, just like she's doing. That's probably why it does feel comfortable as she's going into her speed dating, because that's a version of what dances were for 2 to 5 minutes. You'd get a dance with a bunch of different ladies and just try to get a conversation going.
Right.
And so, yeah, this is the first time.
Put that correlation together. That's funny.
So
that's how you met people in the polygamous group, is we would go to dances. And a lot of times in the dances, you either just waltzed or something with one-on-one, or you would go to a round dance where you would switch partners in the dancing. And so that's really where you would get to know somebody. And it is a form of speed dating. I hadn't really thought about that.
Speed dating. So she was kind of used to that. That was comfortable. It's probably what she was used to when she was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then she dated for, 14, 15 years.
For Cody.
And so Cody's sending her out there to talk to the ladies to see if they'd be good to be a part of her family. So this is the first time she's actually dating for herself.
Right. Right. And so now she doesn't even know what to do. Yeah. Did you have any of these videos that you wanted to show?
Yeah. The next one is just where she kind of gives a list on what's required. It's just hit play. Yeah. So I will share this one again.
How excited you are about it, and that's very intoxicating.
Does he have the same values, like goals, as you do? Like for marriage, you know what I'm saying?
He's sort of like a wait to marry, make sure it's the right person. And I am that way too.
Is it stressing you out, Mom?
No.
Yeah.
No.
What do you guys think? What are you thinking?
Well, I met him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hang out much, but talked a little bit. Seems really like a good guy. Does he treat you really, really nicely?
He does. He treats me
Does he
very
give
well.
you that look that I...
Okay, I'm going to pause this because I wanted to do that one later. But yeah, the reason I put this one up is because Robin is asking questions here. And she's like, does he have the same values? This is something that she's probably, we have raised you with a higher level of values. You are God's chosen child. And so, and it is he have the same values? This is a kind of also a way that she kind of is undercutting the date. If Aurora ever comes up and is frustrated with something, that's right, because he doesn't have the same values as you. And so this is Robin's way of, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what she's been doing to Cody. Oh, that wife doesn't have the same ideas as you, the same values as you. You are the leader of this. You are the hero. You are this or that. And she's been doing it to her kids, and it's just showing that she's doing that to her kids. It's her questioning that is telling them that they are a special child, and it's going to be hard for them to find somebody with that's as great as they are, as enlightened as they are, outside of whatever group. And so it's a manipulative way of asking a question, but getting your point across that you have raised them different than everybody outside the world. And so he needs to better perfect himself to get up to Aurora's level. Mm-hmm. Or if he does anything wrong, anything that, then you need to get rid of him. And so it's a very manipulative way that we are raised.
She asks questions in a way that makes you have doubt, that makes you go, wait, is this what it's supposed to be? And so then you have a lot of self-doubt on it.
Which is, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just the way we were raised. Mm-hmm. And I want my kids to feel like that they're in higher value. I feel like they are very valuable too. Right. They're not more valuable than any other human being on the planet. So
right. Did you have another one?
No, just the end one. Okay. So,
all right. This one didn't have a lot of clips that we wanted to show, just because most of the frustration and rage came with the whole conversation with Brody, and Cody and. Okay, let's get to this.
I'll just mention this. I'm not going to put the clip up and everything, but they find the beautiful alternative to ice skating, the big pit of white shiny balls. And so
sometimes I wonder if Mary and Jen are like 12,
which is great. But it probably had some sort of a nostalgia about going through the temple again too, because my gosh. Usually there's just
small
a lot
little
of white shiny white anointed balls running around the temple.
No. Okay. So then they're talking about Cody coming over, and if you look at the way that they interact with each other, when Aurora's doing the dishes and Robin comes up to Cody, puts her hand on him, and the way that he acts when he says to her, she's like, why are you always trying to, Aurora's talking about something in her relationship, and you're over here trying to compare our relationship. And so he gets a little snappy with her, and he's like, I'm just trying to relate. But you can see, like, again, she goes in, tries to touch him, but then turns her cheek to him. There's a lot of body language going on between Robin and Cody. You can tell that there's a lot of trouble in paradise. And so he's getting frustrated because he just wants to be, he says he doesn't care about PDA. He just likes affection. And so I think it's really sad that this is the one time I had like a slight inkling of feeling bad for Cody. But then at the same time, I'm like, take that back. This man doesn't deserve any of that kind of like empathy. He's so needy.
Well, and the thing that if you'll notice when she is coming up to Cody, she's side hugging him or petting him, tapping him like a dog, or stuff like that. And so I was like, well, that's just maybe how she likes to do love it. Maybe she doesn't know how to give a two-handed hug or anything like that. But then Brody comes in and she gives him a big two-handed hug. And I'm like, oh, she does know how to.
Right.
She just doesn't want to do it with Cody, probably because then he gets creepy about it. So,
and so
doesn't want to get him all excited. So
that was how you identified it. You were like, there's a creepy level of competition between Cody and what's happening with Brody. And I just think it's really sad because they're young kids. Like, he doesn't have to compare his entire relationship with Robin to what these young loves are going through. But let me show you this.
The kids have seen how they're living there in the house. So they see the frustrations or the arguments or the way their mom is actually treating Cody. And so it is one of those things where it's like, don't you want to love like ours? You had one of those.
It's
like, no, thanks.
I don't want to love like yours. Yeah.
Appreciate it, but no.
Yeah.
I just like affection. I don't care about PDA. I don't care if it's in public. I don't care where it is. I want to show the affection. Where's my pocket?
The way he clenches his jaw right there, he's like, I don't care about the PDA. I don't care where it's at. I just like affection. And you can see him kind of like grind his teeth a little bit. This man has always been used to being showered with affection, whether it was deserved or not deserved, because everybody's fighting for his attention, because they don't see him very often. They don't get him around very often. And so he's wanting this affection, and Robin's like, get out. Like, I can't shower you he's so needy. It is unreal. But that one scene was almost the point where I felt a little bit like, poor guy can't get any love anymore. He's getting ignored.
Yeah. That's just why he has nostalgia, is because I feel like that he was being heaped the praise upon, and that's all gone now. He's not getting that from even Robin. So
right. And so then we go into the whole awkward conversation. Everybody's been talking about this, where he's like, do I need to protect her from you, or can you protect her from yourself? And this is the part that really, really enraged me at so many different levels, because he says to him, don't take something that doesn't belong to you. Wow. As if these women are objects, as if these girls are they're owned by him. They're owned by Cody until they're owned by their husband. And once they're owned by their husband, now Cody doesn't need to worry about it, but you need to protect her. Those kisses do not belong to her husband. Brody is not kissing another man's wife. He's kissing a single woman named Aurora. That's it.
Who has free agency to make her own decision. That's what we were raised with the beginning stories, but then the later dogma says, no, she doesn't.
How many times did you hear the sister wives say at the very beginning of this whole entire series, women are at choice. Women can do whatever they want to do. We want our girls to know that they can marry whoever they want. And yet now Cody's over here saying, well, you're licking the butter off another man's bread. You're doing what it's infuriating to me to listen to this, because of the way that I was taught growing up, that I truly 100% believed for the first 8 years of my marriage that my body belonged to my husband, that your virtue, that your purity, that whatever you want to call it, is somebody else's to own, not yours to give.
Yeah. Something that you are saving and are going to give to your husband only. And if you choose to give it to somebody that you might think is your husband, then you are going to be shamed. Shamed, and that old husband is a thief. So
you took something that doesn't belong to you.
So,
and it doesn't belong to you either. It's hers to give to whoever she wants to give it to.
Thank you.
And so this entire conversation is so infuriating on multiple levels. But the fact that this kid is sitting here and he's not understanding anything that Cody's saying to him. And then Aurora gets on the couch and she's like, we think my dad's talking about chastity, but it's not really coming clear. And then he's talking about an advanced level, because he's so advanced emotionally, where he's like, well, you're going to treat her with such respect that another man's going to come along and he's going to say, thanks for taking care of what belonged to me.
He's asking a trick question
to
Brody that he would be livid with if
the producers had asked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the hypocrisy on that it completely confused it. But the way he asked it was a trick question to get the answer he wanted to hear. And Cody does not like questions like that. So
no, not
his
at all.
hypocrisy runs deep.
Your job is to protect my daughter, even from yourself. When you're just dating, you're kissing another man's wife until she's your wife. And if she doesn't become your wife, you're kissing another man's wife. This is the reason that I believe in chastity. It's like, don't take something away from them that doesn't belong to you.
Who does it belong to? That's a follow-up question. Who does it belong to? The husband, or does it belong to her? So
right, it belongs to her to give to whoever she wants to, and it's not an object to be owned. And this man does not understand this. And yet how many girls has he raised this way? Thank God these girls have gotten away from this type of thinking. But this is the thinking that runs so deep in all sorts of these religions, not just polygamy. I know it runs deep in a lot of other religions as well. But women's bodies, let's just be really clear about this, are not objects to be owned. Whatever they do with their bodies is their choice. It's their decision to give it to whoever or do with whatever. It's not even something that they're giving. It's something that they are experiencing with another human being. They have emotions too. They have feelings too. We all want to have an experience. It's an experience that we are creating with someone else. And so the way he says that in here, his redemption tour, he just shoots himself. The next time you see him, you're like, can this man get any dumber? And then he does. And then you're just like, wow, you just outdid yourself again. And honestly, the psychology behind this, and this is what's so disgusting, is Ariella is 10, maybe in this episode. She's watching this and she's now this is going into her psyche that, oh, this is something that I owe to someone else because it belongs to them, not me. And she's being indoctrinated at such a very, very small young age, just as all the other girls were indoctrinated. And thank God that they've hopefully gotten out of some of that indoctrination.
Well, it was rampant in their purity speech.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we watched that way back. I can't even remember how many seasons back. And went, oh, but you've seen growth of most of the people on the show to start to think a little bit different. But yeah. Cody and Robin think the exact same way. That's why they feel like that they are still, that is their faith, and they're living it to the fullest, and they keep communicating their faith.
Another part that really frustrated me about this whole conversation is he's telling Brody, and the poor kid is so confused. He's just sitting there like, like he's trying to be polite. He sees cameras there. He sees this intimidating man who thinks he's so full of knowledge and wisdom. And and the poor kid just sits there with permagrin on his face. But Cody comes up with, she has to, you need to protect her even from yourself. And he's like, well, yeah, that's why I gave her a knife. That's why I did this. And then we flash to Cody on the couch and he goes, I had another outlet. Sir, your women, your wives were not outlets for you to go get horny with Robin and then turn around and use them as an outlet for your horniness with Robin. That is not what these wives were. They're not. That's just unfortunately how you treated them. But this is not what their goal and their purpose in life was, to be an outlet for you to go out and date your girlfriends in your little convertible and get horny, get whatever it is. And then you come home and you use them as an outlet. Mm-hmm. Men like this should never even be allowed to get married.
But men that like this have multiple wives.
Multiple wives. So. And this is the thinking of 99% of all polygamous men that I know, is exactly what you're seeing in Cody Brown right here. This is why the abuse runs so deep and so rampant in this religion, because Cody, Christine says it in her book, has a car to date. He has a convertible to date. He doesn't have a car to dad or to father or to husband. Mm-hmm. He has a convertible car to date. Mm-hmm. And then he goes home and he uses his wives as outlets. And I see this happen all the time. Even among the wives, the men will go to one wife to get turned on because he's not necessarily turned on by another wife. And then he'll go to that wife's house to complete the deed because it's her night. It's disgusting. And women are objects and tools to these men. And it's infuriating to watch. And the fact that Robin stood there and allowed him to blow out this bullshit is disgusting on her end. It shows you that she is no better off mentally and emotionally than he is.
Well, you think he's going to change because he's saying he's lost his religion. She's not even admitting that she will ever change. So
right. So
she's living it perfectly the way she's always lived it.
Well, and then he pops off with, you respect her like I respected her mother. You love her like I've loved her mother. Everything is about him. Everything is about the way he does things, the way he loves Robin, because they have which I'm sorry, when you have to remind everyone that you have this special bond, that you have this love, this romantic soulmate stuff, there might be trouble in paradise at that point when you have to constantly be reminding these people of this. And the fact that he lied, blatantly looks into the camera and says, I kept my hands off their mother until we were married.
Thou protest too much.
Yeah.
He's been trying to reassure us.
You saw the pictures.
So
you saw the videos.
Well, this is why I think he does kind of watch us sometimes because, now he's protesting too much. No, that's not happening.
We saw the pictures. Okay. We saw the engagement photos of 6-inch stilettos and hips thrust into your hips and you holding her butt. This is one of the most inappropriate pictures. I would be furious if I was one of the original wives and saw that. I'm sure that caused so much problems in their marriage.
Well, I'm sure that was taken after they went through their endowments.
Nope. And then he's at home making out with his girlfriend while his wife's in labor. It's like, sir, did you forget that you recorded your entire life? We all saw it. And here's the part of the problem with polygamous men. See, I'm going to go off on this rant. He has his recorded. The whole world saw it. Most of these men don't. So then they come in and they make these women feel like objects that they're to be owned. And then they're crazy. Because if you protest, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. And so Cody's only doing what he saw his dad probably do. He saw the other brethren in the church do, is lie about what actually happened. Cody Brown just forgets that his was actually on camera. Cody Brown forgets that he actually made a TV series that shows all of his bad behavior. Cody Brown forgets that picture is all over the internet of his girlfriend with her hips thrust into his. He was kissing another man's wife at that point because she was not his wife. And
based on his belief system. And we know people who've gotten all the way up until the moment of marriage and backed out and didn't follow through with the polygamous marriage. So this man has lost his ever-loving mind. He is literally, I feel so bad. I don't want to tear him apart like this because if his kids ever watch our show, I'm so sorry. But it's infuriating to watch because most men just lie about their behavior. And then you're the crazy woman. You're the crazy B word. You're the one who has evil spirits flying around you. You're the one. And women are not only objects, but now they're shamed, demoralized, and kicked to the curb when these men go, that never happened. You made that up. Kids are pretty brilliant. They see things that most adults don't think they see. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
they see the hypocrisy. Yeah. You said something on there that, does he look at you like, I look at your mother? And my thing was like creepy, like, no, he looks at me a little bit.
Let's hope he doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, this creepy, it is very creepy. And we had talked about that back on, several of our episodes a while ago when people were saying Cody Brown is creepy. He is very creepy at this point. And you had pointed out it's because they're always in date mode. Yeah. And so every woman is a potential wife, even his own daughter, because we know a lot of people who have done that. We know a lot of people who have married mothers and daughters. And it's very, very common, way more common than it should be in polygamy. It should never, ever occur. But it does, and it happens. And so this man is so creepy that it's like, just let these two kids, young adults, have their relationship. Why do you have to make it all about you? When she says, oh, look, we got 2 trees. It's an Aurora and a Brody. And he's like, where's our 2 trees? And Robin's looking at him like, shut up. But she doesn't correct him. If you notice that, she doesn't correct him because she is still so indoctrinated with what she believes. There's no way she should correct him like that. So what you can say?
Trees are on the way to celestial kingdom. So
Yeah.
they got them planted up in their heavenly kingdom up there.
Oh, it's just infuriating. Okay. And then I love it because Robin invites Brody over for Christmas. Hey, would you like to come and have Christmas with us? And he says, yeah, I'd love to have Christmas with my special girl. And Cody comes in, oh, what about your special guy? And now all of a sudden we see Solomon finally come in. Yeah.
Hey, mommy. There I'm like, hey, you want to spend Christmas with a special guy? Because I think you're a special girl.
So I am that guy now.
Oh, you are.
Whoa. Nice. Whoa.
Cody is a
Stay away, creeper.
Yeah. So he comes up like, hey, mommy, how inappropriate of so many different levels of disgusted I am with this man.
Oh.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. He just does it disgusting like.
It's creepy.
I mean, I've teased you around our kids and they're like, shut up, but I don't know. I'm not also, yeah.
Yeah. When he comes in, hey, mommy, what about your special guy? I loved that Solomon stood up and said something. We don't hear a lot from Solomon. At least we haven't. Mm-hmm. And so I love that Solomon is not afraid to stand in and step in and be like, yeah, no. Mm-hmm. It does give a little bit like he's a sweet boy. And I love that he hugs his mom, but it does give a little bit of mommy dearest show, that vibe with Robin and Solomon. But I think then she talks about how, Cody's so romantic. He loves when he sees other people love, he wants to love me. And she's like, and I've had to untrain myself.
But.
Oh, yeah.
Erases everything in front of what she just said.
And she goes, but I've had to untrain myself because she should have just said, because he's completely inappropriate in front of our children. Mm-hmm. But she was saying, because when she first joined the family, the other wives didn't show affection. So she's had to untrain herself to not show affection to Cody, which is ridiculous. We've all seen the film. We've all seen the camera. She's not that way. Now she's trying to paint herself as being this shy wife that it's just beyond disgusting. Let's see. What's this? Again, that's what I feel like these two are constantly trying to justify their bad behavior. Like we didn't see it all on video. Again, we have not seen all the episodes. We're only on season 4, but we've seen enough to know that what she said, that she's had to untrain herself so she can publicly show this man affection, is bullcrap. Like, we all know that that's crap. And then here comes one of our last clips that we have. Did you have something you wanted?
Well, I did. He says in here that he had to be, I wasn't as discriminating enough. This was kind of a,
oh yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm bromancing. He wanted a relationship with Caleb and Mitch, and maybe not Tony as much, but he wanted to be their buddies. He wanted this. And he says in there that it's so that once they feel comfortable, then he knows where their head is and stuff. And he wasn't discriminating enough with those 3 guys. And that's because they don't want anything to do with Cody because of the way he treats their wives as a father.
Yeah.
And so they have distanced themselves. So Cody, he doesn't have to be discriminating enough. Those guys are 100 times better. You should be so thankful that they are married to your daughters and love and protect those daughters from you and Robin. So,
right.
So good guys. And yep. You don't have a bromance with them because how did Robin put it? You're unsafe. So
right. So these men are protecting their wives, rightfully so.
Yeah, they're treating his daughters better than he ever has. So
absolutely. All right. And so then our last little clip that we'll show is, I think it's funny. Again, I feel like they read the comments and people are complaining about them online. This is one of the bonus scenes from this week's episode where they justify their art gallery bad habit. Expensive habit is what I should say, not bad habit.
Yeah, but these are discount ones. They didn't pay that much money.
I know. And if you look at Aurora and Brody's face, they're like, we don't care. Like, you're just using this as a way to justify all of the expensive crap you have on your walls, why the other wives went without.
God put it on sale for us.
I know. Well,
So,
God does bless these two for all of their thievery and manipulation. So here we go.
We love art. We love to go to art galleries and art museums and stuff like that. We're really big on it. It's kind of something we've always bonded on. And so every time we would go, he would always go, it was always drawn to the cowboy art. And I'd be like, okay, cool. And I'm not really into it, but he was always drawn to it, always drawn to it. Always wanted to listen to old cowboy songs his mom used to play on the record player. Always would, talk about cowboys and stuff like that. He'd always want to watch Westerns. And I was just always like, oh, so you really like this cowboy stuff?
Wasn't over.
Do I need to go longer?
Yeah, because she said, because he's a ranch kid, and he's like, she called me a cowboy. I'm like, no, she didn't. She called you a ranch kid.
Okay, I see.
There's real cowboys out there.
Yeah.
So, she never called you a cowboy, son.
Right.
She called you a ranch kid.
They're talking to Brody and to Aurora, and they're like, yeah, he's telling them that Robin really indulged in a few art pieces, like almost trying to justify because they know what people are saying online about them. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to justify Robin. Well, he's blaming Robin. First of all, Robin really indulged in a few pieces that she thought were authentic, but they're really just really close replicas. Yeah. They're not real.
God gave us a good discount because we're such righteous people.
Right. And so I think it's disgusting to watch these two try to justify how they swindled, embezzled money from these other wives. And so that's pretty harsh. That's a pretty harsh accusation, in my opinion, when I see this online and what everyone else is seeing, is the fact that she had all of this expensive art and figurines all over her house. And I feel like they're kind of trying to justify it now.
You keep using worldly terms. Their wants and needs were more than the other wives.
Robin just spent her money differently.
That's right. And their wants and needs are bigger than the other wives because they're more righteous. So they should have
God
more.
blesses them more.
God blesses them more. You're using these technical worldly terms. So
yeah, it's insanity to watch this. And of course, we don't know if they really embezzled money. We don't know if they stole from the original wives. We don't know these things.
Only they know.
Only they know. But I just feel like, why try to justify it and try to redeem yourself if you know that it's not true? And then they're talking about, Cody just says that Aurora, marriage is a contract. We end the episode with marriage is a contract. Find the deal breakers before you get married. And because that is not how it's done in polygamy, it isn't. The courtships are so short. They're just, hey, a few weeks, sometimes a few months at longest. And it's like, we don't know this is a deal breaker because we didn't get to know each other very well. Most people certainly don't get to know each other as intimately as Robin and Cody got to know each other before they got married. They just don't. And so he says it's a deal breaker. Find these deal breakers before you get married so that you're not divorced 3 times. And I feel like now we're hearing this, woe is me, I've been divorced once, and woe is me, I've been divorced 3 times. It's like between the two of you.
Well, and that's what I heard there was him saying, hey, guys, don't do it the way we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason that they do, the reason that they have the courtships, because most of these relationships are approved by the PSR, the prophet and that man speaks to God, and God wouldn't have approved this relationship. And so you just need to get over it. You might not have known each other. You might not.
But this is ordained by God.
This is ordained by God.
Get along.
Yeah. And these guys are basically kind of speaking out the other side of their mouth. Don't do it the way we did it. It sucks. So,
yeah. Well, and then Christine ends the entire episode with, she says, I wish that Cody had a better relationship with his kids. I wish he even saw his kids. And how tragic is that, he's over here trying to profess this happy, wonderful relationship he has with Robin and he has with her children, even though she's missing quite a few of her children right there. And yet he's over here trying to show the world, no, look how wonderful of a relationship we all have. You guys have a problem. You guys need to figure it out.
And so again, my own opinion here, but if he ever tried to work something out with his kids, kind of without Robin's okay or whatever, that would be the downfall that would be a reason for her to leave, because those kids are not safe. They've said this over and over again. They're not safe. And so the only time that I think Cody will start to try to, you can already see some of he used a lot of nostalgia about the way they were all talking about nostalgia of growing up. But Cody will try to, I think, hopefully work out a relationship with his kids, but that's after Robin leaves him. So.
I forgot we did talk about that too, that that Cody's like, I'm not a cowboy. I just have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to this. And Christine worked at the museum that he mentioned in when he goes back to Cody, Wyoming. And I just think it's sad because this man is longing. It seems like he's longing for something that he doesn't have with Robin. And, you know, where he's got the nostalgia with Mary and all of the things, you know, the memories of living there. He's got the nostalgia with Janelle, and they all lived out at the ranch in Cody, or not. I don't think they lived in Cody, but Lovell. They lived in Lovell, Wyoming. And then these kind of things are really important to Christine too. Family, heritage, traditions. These are all important to all of these guys. The only person it doesn't seem really important to is Robin. And so, and maybe it is, but she doesn't talk about her family culture or her family history, where Christine brings a lot of the culture in there. So does Mary. And so does Janelle. I mean, Janelle being married to Cody's dad. So they really nurtured that nostalgia for Cody.
Yeah.
And now Robin doesn't do that. Yeah. And so he's getting offended. Like, I'm not a cowboy. Like, she says it almost like it's a derogatory term. Like, oh, well, he's just a cowboy. And he's like, I'm not a cowboy. I'm a cool kid that rides in a freaking convertible. I'm not a cowboy. Oh. And yet he's trying to be cool and hip and new and fresh for her. I mean, they've got 10 years. There's a 10-year gap there. And so in age difference. So he's over here like, no, look, I'm young, fresh, and hip, just like you are. And yet.
What's the word he used? Because affection.
Yeah.
So he's nostalgia for affection. This nostalgia goes back to.
He misses being nurtured and taken care of.
Having all this affection heaped on him. And that's all gone now.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And Robin's not nurturing him. She's over nurturing, possibly over nurturing her children, but not nurturing Cody in any way. And he's used to getting that from his other wives.
I wouldn't call what she does nurturing. Manipulation.
Well, yeah.
Control.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's our take on it. Let us know what you guys think. This one was a little bit more, we chewed on a lot of stuff. I mean, you can see me, I'm chewing on my lip as we're even talking, because it did bring up some previous stuff for us. So we had a lot of conversations around it. We watched the show again, way too many times. I think we watched like 3 or 4 times, so that we could go through, and we still even forgot to talk about some of the things that we had on our list.
We're just so thankful that we realized this years ago before we started raising our kids. So we have raised our kids so much more.
That our girls are not objects to be owned by someone else. The qualities and characteristics and things that our girls have to offer the world are not objects for someone else to own. And they are things that our girls experience with their partners, whoever those partners may be. And it's infuriating to watch some of this because it's so deeply indoctrinated into Cody and Robin. And Robin just sat back and allowed her girls to be, subjected to being an item to be owned. And the fact that he calls his ex-wives outlets, they are not outlets. They are human beings. And the fact that he's a vile, disgusting man. And I know way too many men just like him, unfortunately. So anything else?
Running around plugging themselves into all these outlets. So.
So true. So true.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. If you don't follow us on our other social media, there's a link on our channel that will take you there. We do a lot more daily updates on our Instagram page. And so like we did a little story about our skeleton and our doll here. Did a little story about that earlier today.
She
and
has no thoughts today.
Yeah, today our brains are done thinking about this. But yeah, we went over, put a couple of those on Instagram. Also, our very first reaction to each episode is on TikTok. So feel free to follow us on any of the other social medias and let us know what you think in the comments.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.